Good afternoon, everybody. This is King B with another video. I haven't done a story like this in a while. So we're going to unpack this story. I'm going to read this. This is article comes from the Mirror, the U.S. Mirror. All right, and y'all see the title: "The Truth Behind $100,000 Human Safaris Exposed with Children Carrying a Higher Price Tag." This is what the wicked do. So let's see what they're talking about. Shocking allegations, and the key word is allegations, right? Shocking allegations have surfaced that wealthy gun-loving tourists shelled out up to $100,000 to partake in sickening human safaris during the brutal siege of Sarajevo in the 1990s, with children's lives carrying a higher price tag. Italian authorities are probing these unsettling claims, which suggest that as many as 100 bloodthirsty individuals, mainly from far-right circles in Europe, the U.S., and Russia, financed these horrifying unaliving games, as reported by La Repubblica newspaper. Sarajevo, once a bustling capital city, experienced unthinkable atrocities during the Bosnian War, ending an unyielding siege that lasted nearly 4 years, the longest in modern warfare history. Staggering sums of money were paid for particularly sickening acts against little ones, with tourists taken to a specific spot. Over 10,000 innocent lives were tragically ended by relentless shelling and sniper fire between 1992 and 1996, as the city was held captive by the merciless assault. The main boulevard, ominously dubbed Sniper Alley, became a notoriously dangerous path as Bosnian Serb forces surrounded Sarajevo, hell-bent on forcing the government surrender at any cost. Residents lived in perpetual fear, never knowing when the next bullet might hit. And that's just a terrible thing, man, for the people who live that, and they can't get out to live in fear like that. And this is something that's going on right now as I'm speaking in some countries. Rumors of these disturbing tourist excursions have circulated throughout the area for years, but the shocking claims only received widespread public attention following the 2022 premiere of Sarajevo Safari, a disturbing documentary by Slovenian director Miran Zupanic that explored the sinister side of wartime brutality. What's shocking about the story, and I think why it's grabbed the public imagination, is that it's wealthy individuals that have allegedly paid to do this. Professor Kenneth Morrison, a renowned Balkans expert, told The Sun they were hunting human prey with no regard for human life, and that's why it's so shocking. Now, they have, they tell the truth in movies, right? When you watch some of these movies, it's not just entertainment. They put the truth in plain sight. It's just that some people just don't pay attention to it. They just take it as inspiration. But when people go missing, right? And the movies like, what's a good example? What's a movie that would be a good example of what I'm talking about? This article is talking about. For example, the movie Hostel. Now that movie is different. Hostel. It's a movie called Hostel. All right. That movie is different, though, a little different than what this article is talking about, because they're not, the people in that movie, they wasn't being hunted. They were being kidnapped and taken to a location where the wealthy paid to watch, people being tortured. All right. That goes on as well. Okay. But there's plenty of movies where they put the truth in plain sight. Okay. But let's continue reading this. Professor Morrison pointed out the troubling similarities some observers are making to the notorious Epstein case, emphasizing an apparent culture of impunity among the wealthy elite who appear to operate without concern for repercussions, even when their supposed offenses are as horrific as premeditated killings. Right? And this is something that is known but not talked about enough. You know, that's why after every video, after I make a video, you always hear me say protect the babies, the little ones, protect the women. You know what I mean? Because I end my videos, every video that way, the same way, because the threat is real. You know what I mean? The threat is real. All right? And as a community, as a community, we need to do a better job of protecting ourselves, protecting our babies, our little ones, our women, our young teenagers, our young adult. We need to do a better job at that. You know, we need to do a better job as sticking together as a community. And it is refreshing and to see some communities already doing that and stepping up and having their own patrols and you know, the brothers and the men getting together and standing on business. You know, it is refreshing to see that. We need to get back to that, you know. And again, it's great to see that some are already doing this, as well as some people who have the funds to get together and pool their funds together and buy land and already started building their own communities. You know what I mean? That's something that we need to do as well. But what goes along with that is, in my opinion, is because it's fine to buy the land and build your own communities and build your own businesses or whatever. But what we need to do, we need to talk about being able to defend that, because we can look at the history, especially with my melanated family out there, right? We all know about the you know, Tulsa, Oklahoma, you know, Black Wall Street and so many other you know, towns and communities that we've had, our ancestors have built and was successful, and that was destroyed, sitting in bottom, you know, at the bottom of lakes, you know, flooded out, you know what I mean, burnt down to ash, so on and so forth. You know, so when we have these discussions of building our own communities again, our own businesses again, we have to talk about being able to defend them, defend our communities, all right, defend our land. It's necessary to be able to have that. That's very important. In fact, that should be discussed first. You know, soon when we start talking about buying land and getting them, building our own, that's something that need to be discussed. How do we keep it secure? How do we keep ourselves safe? How do we keep our businesses safe? How do we keep our homes safe? How do we keep the community as a whole safe? It's very important. Okay? Very important. But let's continue with this article. Seasoned dark tourist Andrew Drury, who has traveled into conflict zones from the sandy roads of Mogadishu to the mountainous terrain of Afghanistan over the last 2 decades, expressed his complete revulsion at the so-called human safaris to the sun, calling the alleged activity pure lunacy and declaring bluntly, it's not dark tourism, it's straight murder, plain and simple. The Guildford builder said he was once disgustingly offered the opportunity to fire a sniper rifle while on the front lines in war-ravaged Kirkuk, Iraq, a proposal he firmly rejected. I wouldn't even look into the scope. I couldn't take another human life. I couldn't even kill an animal, but apparently there are people out there doing it all the time, he remembered with disgust. Drury has stared down gun muzzles and barely avoided abduction during his dangerous expeditions. Said he once had a bounty placed on him while traveling through Iraq with his cousin. I was traveling with my cousin in Iraq when we were approached by some American guys who I imagine could have been intelligence officers telling me I had a price tag on my head, he explained, underscoring the constant risk faced by those who venture into war zones. So this is what this article is about, but when this article come by the Mirror US, okay? All right, so this is not me saying this. I'm reading an article, all right, about these allegations, because this is all alleged, but those of us who've been doing the research and been talking about these things, know what time it is. You know what I mean? But y'all know I am. I'm King B. I'm gonna stop this video right here, but yeah, we really need to do a better job as a whole, because this type of wickedness needs to be eradicated. Those who do this type of wickedness, again, there's no place in the new world for this. You know what I'm saying? But until that moment comes, we really have to protect our communities, protect our families and our neighbors. There used to be a time when everyone in the community will watch the children and keep an eye on the children. And everyone was accounted for. There used to be a time, and we need to get back to that. Keeping each other safe, making sure the children are safe, the little ones are safe in the community. Even if it's not your own, you have your neighbors, and your neighbors. You might not have children of your own, but if your neighbors do, and you cordial with your, even if you just cordial with your neighbors, they got little ones, and the little ones is out there, keep an eye on them. You know what I mean? If you just look out the window every now and again, or just step outside and make sure they're good. You see something wrong, get involved. Help. That's how you can do your part. Because there's a lot of wickedness out there. And sometimes when you go to the movie to watch a movie, just keeping in mind certain movies you watch. It's not just entertainment, because again, the truth is hidden in plain sight. You're not just being entertained, right? Okay, allegedly. All right, love yourself unconditionally. Keep your loved ones close. Look after each other. Protect each other. Communicate with each other. Keep the babies, the little ones, the women, the teenagers, the young adults safe, right? Especially teenagers, and on another level, the teenagers and the young adults, because they're starting their lives. They're finding their way. They want to get they want to get out there and find their path and find their purpose in life. And there's things that they want to do. They want to go out. They want to, explore the world. Make sure you have these type of conversations with them and remind them that safety is a priority, number one. Right? Every time you walk out that door, your number one mission, as soon as you step foot outside that door, outside of your home, your number one mission is to make sure you return, you get back home. Make sure your loved ones get back home. Do your part to make sure that your loved ones get back home, right? And you can do that by just having a conversation and reminding them how important it is that they get back home. Their head is on a swivel. That they communicate when something's wrong, that they have a way to defend themselves, right? That's everybody's number one mission, is when they step foot and they leave their home, is to get back home by any means necessary. All right? So once again, protect the babies, the little ones, the women, the teenagers, the young adults. All right? Men, we need to stand and band together as men and do our job. And do our job. Protect our homes. Protect our loved ones. Protect our community. It is our responsibility. It's no one else's. It's our responsibilities, because the ones who you think job it is to protect the community, it's really not. Do your research on that, right? And they are the main ones. A lot of them, not all, but too many of them is responsible for the atrocities that's going on and bringing certain items into communities so we can destroy ourselves. Okay? To the next video. Be safe out there, everybody. Peace.